Hello there, internet friends. This is Danielle Pierce, creator of Real Estate Profit Lab. I'm back with day 7 of our 21-day #day in the life campaign. So, for those of you who don't already know, I'm going to be going live every day at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time now we have 14 more days because we're on day 7, and I'll be answering one question related to property preservation. So, we'll be talking about things like pros and cons of the industry, pitfalls, dealing with contractors. Yesterday, we talked about handling the business and being a full-time mom. We'll talk about something we call the success gap, launching your business, and so on and so forth. So I intend for this to answer a lot of the questions that come in on an ongoing basis, and for you guys to have a playlist that answers these questions back to back to back to back to back as they pop into your heads. So as always, come in, say, hey, let me know where you're watching from. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I am live on Instagram, YouTube, and inside of the Facebook group as well. So thank you guys again for tuning in. All right. So this campaign, this 21-day #day in the life campaign, is going to take us right into Black Friday. We'll be talking about our most successful students of the year, and also most importantly, the thing that I think most of you care about is we'll be reducing the price of the program pretty significantly, and I'll get into those details in just a moment. Before I do that, let's get into highs and lows. Highs and lows is a way for me to share more insight about my personal life, which I feel like I already share so much, but hey, who's counting, right? So share some insight about my personal life and also get to know you guys a little bit better as well. So you share something great that happened today and something that's, not so great. It doesn't have to be anything, super traumatic or life-changing, but nevertheless, I'd like for you to post your comments below. So I'll go first. So a low for me, I always start off with lows. I'm telling you, it's just the Scorpio of me, always showing its ugly head, so to speak. But anyway, a low for me is that I still have not figured out my hair for my birthday, and I leave Friday to go to Palm Springs. So this is kind of a big deal. I'm a little bit concerned at this point. I have some backup plans, but I need to get my plan A together. I think that I may have found somebody, but we'll see. My appointment is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday. Another low for me is that I use, janky ass Style Seat, which I guess all these stylists tend to use. And I've already apparently paid for the appointment and left a 20% tip, which I'm really irritated about. Not the fact that I paid for it and left the tip, but it's like, I don't even know if this girl's going to even keep my damn appointment. And I know it's going to be hell trying to get my money back if she can't keep it. But anyway, let me not assume the negative is going to take place, right? But anyway, that's my low. My hair is still not together. I don't know if I don't want to wear it short, but I may have to. We'll have to see. And a high for me is that we're actually going to be making some updates to our property preservation mastery program. I'm probably going to do an entire video explaining what the updates are going to be. So it'll still be the same program at the core, but I'm also going to add in some additional options in terms of getting started. So a lot of people ask about, can I just do trash outs? Can I just do a cleaning company? What about doing work with some of the property management companies or realtors or investors or the companies that go around buying thousands of single family homes and putting them back on the market as rentals? So there's lots of different avenues, and I want to encompass more of those inside of the same program. So those updates, again, will be happening over the course of the next, throughout the course of the end of the year. I want to say it'll be ready in January, but of course, people who've already paid for the program will have access to those updates. At least that's the plan for right now. We're still fleshing it out, but stay tuned for that. And I will do a very, longer video explaining exactly what those changes will be and what you can expect moving forward. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right. So last time we talked about, before I get into that, the Black Friday, Wednesday, November the 24th, really not Black Friday, but whatever. Black Friday has got too much going on. We're going to be dropping the price of the program to $1,497. That's $1,000 off. Plus, we're throwing in $3,000 in bonuses, and you'll only have a 5-hour window on the 24th, starting at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, to take advantage of that pricing. So mark your calendars for that. Last time we talked about working the business as a full-time mom. Can be somewhat stressful. If you haven't watched that video, please go back and check it out. I gave some pretty good tips on how to navigate both situations because, of course, I've been there, done that. Today, we're talking about creative tips to to find contractors. And I want to start with a disclaimer. And that disclaimer is going to be this: finding contractors is challenging. I want you to know that that's probably going to be the most challenging aspect of starting your business, running your business, and continuing to scale your business. In terms of the why, I mean, we could probably spend, the next 3 hours on here talking about why and bashing contractors and saying how shady and janky they are and all these different things. But, what's the point of that? I think that there's room on both sides, meaning the contractors and those who hire them. I think there's room on both sides for improvement. So we'll just, go with, some of the suggestions I plan on talking about today. All right. So the 7 tips I want to talk about is number one, ask people. So as you're driving through your neighborhood or by your job or wherever, if you notice people already working on a property, I want you to get out of your car and go talk to those people and get their contact information and save it in your phone, because you know for a fact that these people actually do work, and they're somewhat familiar with doing, getting jobs completed at a property. So that's probably not my number one tip. These tips are in no particular order, but I do really like this tip. I've done it about 5 times over the years, and each time it has worked out pretty well. So that's number one. Number two, you want to post inside of the help wanted groups on Facebook. So there's plenty of them. There's help wanted, jobs wanted, seeking jobs, all types of groups for pretty much every city and state inside of the US. And so you join the group and then you post your jobs, or you post in there and you'll say something to the effect of, you know, property preservation company is looking for handyman or looking for contractors. And just, I wouldn't make it too detailed inside of the post, because sometimes too much detail scares away a lot of people, and you want to have as many people contact you as possible. But do continue to make the post and make those posts as often as they're allowed, because it's never, I always think it's better to have contractors and not need them versus needing them and not having any that you can quickly reach out to. So that's tip number two. Number three is using free and paid ads for Craigslist. Of course, Craigslist has gone down quite a bit over the years. It is but a mere shadow of its former self. It's kind of outside of its glory days, but it is still effective. There's probably a 20 or 25% chance that you'll find somebody, worth your time on Craigslist. And again, they have a free option and they have paid ads. The paid ads perform significantly better. And it's only like, if we're talking your small city in Texas, it might be $7. If it's Chicago, it might be $15 or $20. It's not a huge amount of money. But I do recommend that you post, I do recommend that you still utilize Craigslist. Yes, it's janky and you will get a lot of people, contacting you who don't qualify, but there are still some solid people there. All right. Where else? Number four, I think we're on, is I still like Indeed.com. It is definitely more expensive. You don't have to follow Indeed recommends an amount that they think that you should pay in order to solicit the most contractors. And usually it's like $27 a day. You don't have to spend that much money. You could lower it to like 15, 10, or 20. But I do still like Indeed.com. I think the pool of contractors is, a little bit better than what you'd see on a Craigslist. Also, you can do templates in terms of how to respond to contractors, and you can also set parameters around, people that you're looking for. Do they have to have a resume? Do they have to, be able to pass a background check? I always put that as one of my initial questions. So if they can't pass a background check, there's no point in us even talking, right? So I do still like Indeed.com for that reason. Word of mouth, of course, is still always going to be one of the better ways to find people. Number six is Home Depot, Lowe's, and pretty much any hardware store. So what you'll do is very similar to how you drive around a neighborhood and you see people who are working and you hop out of your car, you go holler at them. So the same thing you'll do at a Home Depot or a Lowe's. I don't see it as much as at Lowe's with people that are hanging out looking for work, but definitely at Home Depot, especially in an inner city, you see people, looking for work all the time. So I do like that idea as well. And then lastly, I will say that this is probably the best idea that I like, is I want you to think about a family member or a friend and see if you can find someone that you already know to basically train them, from start to finish. Of course, if you're brand new to the industry, y'all will pretty much be training each other, and that's perfectly fine. But I do want you to see if you can find somebody who fits that criteria. Is it a college student? Is it somebody in high school? Is it someone who's a little bit older and is still trying to figure out their way? Is it someone who has some free time on their hands because they only work, during the summer, or they only work during certain times of the year? See if there's somebody. All you need really is one, maybe two. Two is great. One is still fantastic. To see if you can train them on every aspect of property preservation inside of your company. I think that is the best way to go, of course, and of course, doing the work yourself. A lot of us entrepreneurs, we have this discussion back and forth all the time about the best way to find people, because it's challenging apparently to find people for pretty much everything, whether that be a VA, virtual assistant, whether it be an OBM, an office business manager, whether that be an independent contractor or handyman. It's challenging across the board to find people. So I'd like for you to do is to, again, consider looking closer to see if you can find somebody there. There's one more point that I was going to make too about finding people. Um, it's ideal, I think, to be able to train people in-house. So for an example, as an example, for our company, Real Estate Profit Lab, I think it would be phenomenal to have an in-house ads manager, someone that we pay maybe $5,000 a month, and they only work exclusively on ads for Real Estate Profit Lab. Like that's the goal. Right now we have, a company on board, and they do, they do a decent enough job. Their fee is $4,000 per month to manage, YouTube ads and Facebook ads, which we're not even doing Facebook right now. But they also manage dozens of other accounts as well. So I think that to the extent that you can have somebody who's solely and exclusively focused on your business, right? We're talking about property preservation. They're not working for anyone else. They don't have a bunch of, companies vying for their time and attention. I think that's going to be great. So if you could just take a minute to think about who in your family, who in your friend circle can you contact, or maybe it's a friend of a friend, but put the word out there. I'm a firm believer that once you start putting things out into the universe, things do start to open up. But if you just not out here complaining, and you're not asking, and you're not, putting out the call for action, then of course you'll probably tend to get those same results. All right. So that is that's all I have for you today. That's the tips that I wanted to share with you with regard to finding contractors. Tomorrow, we're talking about managing contractors, specifically what to do and what not to do. And I'll probably spend a little bit more time on that video, because again, the contractor piece is the most critical component of the business. And a lot of people get this part wrong. And it is challenging, and it is scary, and it is frustrating, and it is new. I had somebody tell me the other day that they don't want to depend on anybody but themselves. And I get that sentiment. But the thing about that is you really limit your ability to expand and grow your business, because you're like, oh my gosh, I can only depend on myself. I don't want to trust anybody else. And just like other aspects of life, if you don't let people in, then you're kind of constricted and you stay in the same spot, which is cool if you like where you're at. But if you don't, then you got to start thinking outside of the box, so to speak. All right. So thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Thank you for putting your highs and lows in the comments. If y'all got any ideas for my hair, drop it down below. I'm open to suggestions, but I think I don't know what I'm gonna end up with, but I mean, I'm sure you'll see. That's one of the things about doing, 21 straight days of live video, is that all my hairstyles, as much as I change them, they're out here, right? So there's that. So I appreciate y'all again. As always, sending you love, light, peace, blessings, grace, and clarity. Mark your calendars for the 24th at 7 o'clock. I am doing a monthly industry overview that day. I am doing a live Q&A that day. It is going to be on Zoom. It's going to be so good. And I can't wait to see you guys there. All right. See you back here tomorrow night at 7. Bye-bye.